Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Stone Age Gamers. Today's episode is called Chiptune Trivia. Enjoy.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Stone Age Gamer Podcast. My name is Chris, and I'll be your host as usual. And with me, as always, is the musical maestro, Dean DeFalco.
Hey!
The audio acrobat, Dan Ryan.
What's up, everybody?
And the percussion professional, Mike Sheridan.
Hola.
How's everyone doing today, huh?
Good.
Doing well, sir. Thank you. How are you? We never ask how you're doing.
Well, I'm doing just fine, Dan. Thank you for asking.
That's good. I mean, nobody really cares, but, you know.
I second the not caring.
Oh. Well, it just so happens that I'm in charge. I will be doling out the points today, gentlemen.
Aw.
Yes, today's going to be a little bit different. Today we're having a Chiptune Trivia, which is going to be a video game trivia game that we're going to be playing with everybody today. I'm going to play a handful of songs. I'm going to play 2 songs from different games. Everybody will give me their guesses, and we will see if everybody can figure out what platform they were released on, what company made the games, and obviously what the name of the game is. We'll be giving out points. They won't really be worth anything, but it'll be fun. And yeah, here we go. Everybody ready to dive right in?
Let's do it to it.
All right, everybody. Dean, why don't you kick us off with song number 1? All right, that's song number 1. How does that make everyone feel?
It made me
Not
feel real
100%.
happy.
I like that song a lot. That song kind of really exemplifies. This is a very interesting game, but we'll talk about it in more detail after we listen to song 2. That's one of my favorite title screen songs. It's not my absolute favorite. In fact, that might even be on this podcast. But that one right there is a really, really good title screen. It kind of gets you jazzed for the adventure ahead. But before we talk anymore, Mike dinged in first. So Mike, what platform was this on?
The Nintendo Entertainment System?
Correct.
Yeah.
This might be the harder one of the remaining 2 questions, but what company made this game?
I want to say Konami, but I'm probably wrong because the intro to the start of the song 2 sounded exactly like the beginning of Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, right, with the scrolling down. But I'm still going to say Konami.
You are incorrect.
I figured.
Mike passes the buck on to next person, which is Dan, I believe, dinged in second. So, Dan, what company made this game?
I had the system. Company, Capcom.
Negative.
Damn.
Dean, any guesses?
Yeah, Chris, actually, I'd like to thank you for telling me to play this game. So the company.
I wasn't sure if you looked into this yet or
Yeah,
not.
yeah, I just started to check it out. So lucky me. Company's Brudderbond. I don't know how to say.
Broderbund. Yep,
Broderbund.
that's right.
And the game
Dean
is
gets the
Legacy of the Wizard.
Absolutely correct. Well
Yay
done.
for me.
Oh yeah, you told me to pick that game up, Chris.
Yeah, I actually gave you this game.
Yeah, well, too bad you fucking didn't.
Yeah, he didn't have to pick it up. I gave it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Legacy of the Wizard. This is a freaking fascinating game. I used to rent this game from the rental shop Captain Video right around the corner from my house, and the music in this game, especially these two songs, really exemplify the mystery that this game has in it, because it is extraordinarily obtuse and very, very mysterious. As far as like it makes you seem like I believe it was song 2. No, song 1 was the first song you not really the first song you hear in the game, but it's as soon as you start the adventure, as soon as you leave your house, that's the song that plays. And it just kind of, there's this forest in front of you and a big castle in the background before you go into the underworld, and it just makes you feel like there's this huge world in front of you, and that it has this kind of sort of sorrow to it, like just a dash of melancholy in the composition that makes you feel really alone, like you are traveling out alone. And that music really makes that resonate with you when you're playing it. And I never figured out how to beat this game, but I absolutely love it as one of my favorite curiosities on the NES, and that I hope
Game's weird as shit.
It really is. I hope to sit down and finish it one of these days.
Yeah, I just started playing it, and I gotta agree with you with the music. They kind of hit like a really cool point with it, and it's a really neat game all around. It's a very like I didn't even know about it till you told me, so I was very happy to pick it up and start messing around with it. However, I probably am going to need a walkthrough to beat the damn thing.
Yeah, as a just kind of a little self-promotion here, Dean has been doing these great Let's Plays on YouTube, and he asked me what game he should do after he's done with Tiny Toon Adventures, and I suggested this one because there's a few Let's Plays out there on it, but they're not very colorful. Like a lot of them there's a handful of speedruns and stuff, and I was really interested because I was pretty sure Dean had never heard of the game before, to see how he would handle going through it, and I felt like that would be really fun to watch. So I guess look forward to Let's Play on this game coming up soon on our YouTube channel.
Hell yeah! So on to game 2.
Yeah. And anybody else have anything to say about Legacy of the Wizard?
Weird as shit.
All right, here we go. Here is game 2, song number 1. It's a pretty energetic tune.
That it is. And yeah, it's a unique sound. So I think a few of us already have guessed here what this would be on. But let's hop on to song number 2, right?
Yep, let's move on. All right. Song number 2. So let's see. We have 2 guesses. But first up is Mr. Dan. What platform is this on?
Sega Genesis.
Damn, Skippy.
All right.
Who made this game?
Sega?
Negative.
Fuck. It didn't sound
Dean.
very confident there, did it? That's-
Not really. Dean, you were second one in.
You ready to crush you here, Dan? You ready to get crushed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. It's made by Konami.
Correct.
Yep.
What is this game?
Now, the reason I know this was because when I was doing my Let's Play, it was either between this game or Tiny Toons Adventures, which are both
Oh,
Konami
really?
games. Yes. And the reason I remember this one was because I also played this as a kid. And the second song gave it away because it's, I think, the first level is
That's
this
correct.
theme. And I must have played it about 6,000 times on the first level because this game was incredibly hard when I was younger. So, without any further ado, this game, I believe, is called Rocket Knight Adventures or Knight Rocket Adventures, Adventures of Rocket Knight. I'm going to go with
You
Rocket
were right
Knight
the
Adventures.
first time.
Yeah.
Rocket Knight Adventures. Yes. As mentioned in our knockdown, drag-out, 6-hour-long Capcom versus Konami podcast, this was a really strong point for Konami. This is an original IP that started on the Sega Genesis from Konami, and it is one of my absolute favorite Genesis games. It was a difficult thing to get good sound out of the Sega Genesis, and while nobody did it as well as Sonic Team, in my opinion, the folks at Konami did a really amazing job. Not just with the sound, but with the visuals.
Konami killing
Dan, yeah, you guys have played this game, right?
Yeah. You let me borrow it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I haven't played this probably since I was a kid, but yeah, I've definitely played through.
There's and they do this trick too in Castlevania, but like a reflection trick where you have to like go through the stages based on where you can see your reflection, in like lava or water or something underneath you.
It's
God,
water
this
the
game.
first time in
Yeah,
Castlevania.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think it's some kind of lava in this one. I know there's like in the second. God, the stages just bleed together so well, and that's a really good thing. Especially the first stage is like really. It's got 4 major tiers in it. You start off in this burning village, and then you go into this burning castle, and then you get this little power up, and you're constantly flying on your rocket pack. For anybody who's never played this game before, Rocket Knight Adventures is a story of a possum who is also a knight with a jetpack and a laser sword. So
Makes sense.
pretty much the coolest thing imaginable.
Yeah, he kicked all the ass. And if I remember, this game was super fast-paced, or, well, you could play it pretty fast-paced because that character could move really fast very
Yeah,
quickly.
he could book, and it was a large sprite too, which was something that Konami was really good at pulling out of the Genesis with its extra processing speed. Was handling a lot of large sprites and making them move in really impressive ways. God, yeah, I just love this game, and the music is just really a testament to how good the composers at Konami were, especially at the time, because man, the Genesis makes some nasty noises. I mean, if you really go back and listen to that track, especially the second one we played, which was the level 1 theme, there's some like just straight up fart sounds for bass. Like some of the bass just sounds like ripping ass, and it's terrible, but you barely notice it because of how well it's composed and how great all that composition is.
Yeah, it's a shame that one of the best sounding games on the Genesis is Boogerman, a
That
pick
is a
and
damn
flick
shame.
adventure. But the sound card worked great for that one.
Yeah, I mean, you just had to figure it out. You just had to figure out how to master it. All right, well, that's Rocket Knight Adventures. That's our second game. So it's time to move on to game number 3.
Just real quick, how many points I got? How many?
Dean's at 4
Oh,
right
yeah.
now,
Yeah, I'm at 4.
and Dan and Mike both have 1.
Yeah,
So-
second place.
Y'all are tied for second.
Yeah.
It's time for some serious comebacks here, folks.
All right, guys, here we go.
a game full of very memorable songs. That's probably one of the ones that stuck with me.
Dare I say it sounds kind of tropical.
Dare you say?
Dare I say?
How dare you?
Oh, how dare you!
All right, let's move on to song number 2. All right. That right there is my absolute favorite title screen music of all time. I freaking love that tune. Dan, you were the first one to buzz in. All right.
Yeah.
What platform was this on?
Nintendo?
Oh, negative, sir.
Really? Son
Yeah.
of a bitch.
Dean.
Well, damn.
Okay. PC.
Correct.
Okay. All right, I think I got this. I think.
Who made this game?
LucasArts?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
That was my second guess.
Shit. All right. The title I'm a little fuzzy on. I'm gonna lose it on this one. I'm not gonna get it. I know someone else will. It's something Monkey Island.
Mike, your turn to guess.
The Adventures of Monkey Island?
Incorrect.
I have no clue.
Dan.
Secret of Monkey Island.
Correct.
Fuck, that was my second guess was the Monkey Island shit. Damn, I really thought it was Donkey Kong Country.
See,
That's what I thought at
Damn.
first too.
Well, I was gonna say Escape from Monkey Island, but that was way later on. So
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was the fourth one, third or the fourth one. I can't remember, but yes, this is the original Adventure of Guybrush Threepwood, The Secret of Monkey Island for PC, and what a soundtrack this game has!
Oh, that was fantastic. I forgot how good this sounded.
I've never played it.
Wow.
It's excellent. It's another one of those things that I haven't played in probably 15 years, something like
so
that.
you didn't play the remake?
No.
Oh, play that game with your kids. It's totally family friendly, and the remake has voice acting, and really good voice acting at that.
Nice.
All of the game, every piece of it is redrawn. Everything works exactly the same way, and what's great about it is that you can switch back to the original graphics and sound at the press of a button. Like, you don't have to go to a menu and switch anything, just one of the button presses just swaps it right exactly where you are, no interruption of gameplay. You can swap back and forth between the new and the old. It's brilliant, and
That's
I
pretty killer.
can't say enough good stuff about this. This game, when it first came out, I wasn't anywhere near it when it first came out, but the first time my family got a PC, we got a handful of free CDs with it. We got, Compton's Interactive Encyclopedia. We got Ultima 6, The False Prophet. We got the original Wing Commander, and we got The Secret of Monkey Island. And my sister and I looked at the cover of this game for a little bit and thought, oh, wow, this game looks pretty weird. That might be fun, but, it just looks like a pirate adventure. And then at a certain point, I noticed that there was a little monkey on there waving a banana around like he was going to hurt somebody with it. And I thought, wonder if this This game looks almost like it might be silly because if you look at the cover art, it's painted and it looks like a swashbuckling pirate adventure. And as soon as you start up the game and you see that amazing title screen sequence, and you're like, wow, this sounds really really cool because it's got that really rich early PC CD sound when everything before that was all very very lower fidelity, but once you started to get CD sound on PC games, those instruments just went to a whole new level, and game music never sounded the same. It sounded so crisp and so clean, and you could hear real instruments, whereas everything else before that was just an approximation of real instruments. But when you first get to the lookout and you realize your character's name is Guybrush Threepwood and he wants to be a pirate and he's talking to this blind guy who's the lookout for Melee Island, and you realize the game's a comedy, and I had never really played anything that funny before, and so much of my humor comes from this game. I learned so much about comedy from this game because it is so damn funny. It's so well written.
Was that one of the ones? Because I know when we got an early PC and it was like, oh shit, we're getting a CD-ROM drive in this one. I know like one of the games that I got along with it was Descent, and
Oh yeah.
you could pop Descent into a CD player and just play the tracks off of it, which
You can do that with Secret of Monkey Island too.
Could you? That's
Well,
awesome.
I mean, that's how it played the soundtrack in the game, which was great. It just played it like it was playing a CD. So all the songs in the game have a natural beginning and an end. Because they didn't have like an infinite loop system. It was just like the track ends and then it restarts the track.
That's awesome. And those early LucasArts games, I mean, if Disney, and I know they're doing the Grim Fandango remake, which should be absolutely amazing. Like it was announced at E3, and they did the whole thing during the PlayStation conference, and it should be awesome. There is so much good stuff from that early LucasArts that if Disney is smart with their purchase of Star Wars and everything associated with it, they will redo Maniac Mansion and Day of the Tentacle and
hopefully the rest of these, because they did the first two of these in special edition, and I was sad that they stopped at the second one because these remakes are so good and these games are so good, and having a newer platform to play them on is great. And I've never got around to playing the last one they did on WiiWare. And I still kick myself for not doing it. I should just download them. I don't know why I haven't, because they're point and click adventures, and you use the Wii remote to point and click at things, which is great. And I feel like, especially something like the Wii U with a touch screen, or even maybe the Kinect, maybe less so the Kinect, but anything that's good for moving a cursor around really really nicely, like the Wii was great for that. The Wii remote is just so perfect for playing point and click adventures on a TV. Capcom's Zack and Wiki is proof positive of that. If you've never played that game, one of the best point and click adventures that anybody had made in a long time, and unfortunately nobody played it because it was called Zack and Wiki.
Well, and even the PS4 controller has the trackpad on it.
Yeah, that would actually work.
For,
the Vita would
games.
work immensely well.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
The Vita would be great for these things.
Basically, anything that gets more Tim Schafer into my life is a good thing.
Yeah,
that dude is just the best.
And he
Brutal Legend notwithstanding, that he's just fantastic. Anyway, sorry, sidetrack.
So, Mike, you need to play this game.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, we'll make that happen. Anybody else have anything to add on The Secret of Monkey Island?
I did enjoy the game. I mean, as you could tell, I automatically just keyed in on that because that brings back some memories. But yeah, I'd recommend that to anyone who just wants to do something different. Point and clicks back then, there were a lot of kiddie ones, but this one stood out among the rest just for its really, really comical feel. And I wish I could find a way to play it now. I think it might be on goodoldgames.com, GOG.com.
Oh, it's on Steam.
Is it? Okay.
It's on GOG. It's on Xbox 360. It's on PS3. It's on iOS for crying out loud.
Well,
Like,
bitches, get to downloading.
yeah, get the download. And game's worth every damn penny. All right, guys, it is time to move on to game 4. There's song number 1. That's something.
Yeah. All I know is that it's old. So.
Yeah.
God, I have no idea.
All right, here's song number 2. Yeah, that second track was pretty short because, truth be told, you've now heard all of the music in this game. All right, Mike, you had the first ding. What's your guess? What platform was this released on?
The Nintendo Entertainment System?
Negative.
Nah, it's got to be
Sick.
way older than that.
It doesn't
Dean.
have to be.
I stand corrected. Atari. 2600.
You are correct. Damn, Dean, killing it. Who made this game?
I pass. I don't know.
All right.
That's all you're getting out of me.
Dan, who made this game?
Dude, I have no idea, so I'll just guess Midway.
No, nope. All right, it loops back around to Mike.
Konami.
Castlevania.
All right, you guys have all had a chance to guess who made the game. So that round is forfeit. Activision made this game. So,
Sick.
starting back at the beginning, Mike, what game is this?
Castlevania.
On the Atari 2600.
Incorrect. Dean.
How many Atari games do I know? Shit. Okay. It's not Pac-Man because Pac-Man's pretty unique. Fuck E.T. I don't think it's Yars' Revenge. Oh, what's the one with the vines? Shit. Fucking pass. I can't remember the name of the game.
Dan, now is your chance.
Oh, fuck. God damn. All right, so it's Activision, Atari 2600.
It's Activision, it's Atari 2600, and this game is unique in that it has background music, whereas most Atari games did not.
Dude, the only thing I can think off the top of my head is Pitfall, but Pitfall doesn't have background music, right?
You're correct. Pitfall doesn't have background music, but this game does. Would you like to take a flailing guess at what this game is?
A flailing guess. Commando.
No, he gave it away.
I totally gave it away.
Did you?
This game
Yeah, he
is
did.
Pitfall 2: The Lost Caverns for Atari 2600.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Castlevania.
Yeah.
Castle
Can
Fall.
Can I have half a point?
No fractions here, Dan.
Son of a bitch. That's so
I was
messed of you.
when you dinged in, Mike. I was pretty sure you were gonna get this because we played this game together
We did.
at my yard sale. Yeah, I had a yard sale just last year, I think, and me and Mike set a TV and an Atari 2600 up on my front yard
Yeah, it was good times.
and played all sorts of Atari games outside all day. It was kind of great. Yeah, Pitfall 2: The Lost Caverns. I obviously everybody anybody who played an Atari 2600 probably played Pitfall at one point or another. And I mean, I had played it when I was younger, and then years later, I saw this game at a yard sale, and I was like, they made a Pitfall 2? I had no idea. And I got it, and I plugged it in, and much to my surprise, it looked just like the original Pitfall, but with much better graphics, because this is a pretty late Atari 2600 game, and David Crane, who made the Pitfall games, did a really impressive job getting some serious power out of the Atari 2600, including having a game with honest to goodness background music, and it's a pretty catchy tune too. It's a That tune's kind of stuck with the Pitfall series, including the unbelievably awful Super Pitfall for NES. But God, that game is
a steaming pile.
Garbage, just utter garbage. This game, on the other hand, is not steaming garbage. It's pretty much it's a lot of catacombs. It's a lot of cave crawling. You start off like above ground, like in the original Pitfall, and then there's all these ladders you can climb down, and you're still collecting those little gold pieces and whatnot. And you go past checkpoints and you dodge bad guys, but there's swimming in this, including different swimming animations for Pitfall Harry, that little stick figure. He goes into the water and he has a different animation for when he's swimming. It's pretty impressive looking. It's you can catch some cool YouTube clips of it. Yeah, the music you heard, the first track was what happens when you start up the game or when you get treasure, and then the second song is the music that plays when you die, which can be just terrible to sit through, because you'll get really far between checkpoints, and if you run into something and you die, it'll actually drag you all the way back to, like, it'll just call it follow your path to whatever you took to wherever you were and drag you all the way back to the last checkpoint. And you have to sit there and watch it while your score depletes with every inch that you pass. It's gut-wrenching sometimes, but
that's fucked up. That's not fucking cool at all.
No doubt.
Didn't this guy also make Keystone Capers and A Boy and His Blob?
Yeah. The original Boy and His Blob.
Yeah.
Which is a great concept, but talk about an obtuse game. I mean, that's even more obtuse than Legacy of the Wizard, man. Boy and His Blob is just... It's a great concept that just falls flat on its ass.
I never enjoyed that game.
Yeah. It's one of those games where, like, a lot of the old school games didn't give you a ton of direction on what you were supposed to do. They just kind of dropped you in this world and let you figure it out. And, a lot of modern games get a lot of flack for holding your hand through everything. But A Boy and His Blob really needed a little bit of hand holding.
They cut your hands off and told you to play the game anyway.
They really do. They're like, throw jelly beans at this fucking thing. And look, it turned into a trampoline. We're not going to tell you what to fucking do with that. Look, now it's a hole, and now it's a ladder.
Well, it was pretty straightforward. It was a boy and his blob.
They got the title exactly right. But good game design. Like, if you look at something like Mega Man or Super Mario Brothers, good game design teaches you how to play the game through the game. Like Shovel Knight. The new game Shovel Knight is a brilliant example of a game that doesn't give you tutorials. It gives you how to play the game by playing the game. Like, early in the game, there's these the chandeliers that'll fall down from the ceiling. And, so you don't know that they're necessarily going to hurt you until you walk close to one, it shakes and it falls down. But it shakes and it falls down on the ground. And then you now know that those things are dangerous. So the next time you see them in the next screen, where if one hits you, it'll kill you immediately, you know how to dodge them, because the game just showed you the mechanics of how those work. And then after you hit a couple of those things, there's a bad guy and a platform that's way out of reach and one of those shaky chandeliers in the middle. And that's the game showing you, I can jump on that and then jump off it before it falls down to get up to platforms. And now the game has taught you exactly all the mechanics of how these chandeliers work without saying a damn word. And that's brilliant game design. And that's how games used to teach you how to play before, modern Zelda games stuck you in a town herding goats for 45 minutes to teach you how to play something before you can get to the whole, the meat and potatoes of the game, as it were. And
Well, it's what's so perfect about the original Super Mario Brothers. The brilliance of that game comes from the very first second you turn it on. If you start walking to the right, by the time the Goomba gets to you and you jump, you're pretty much right underneath the block that spits out a mushroom. And then all of it's like, okay, I can hit these things. Like it's perfectly timed. You
And
know,
that's good game design. And
it's just absolutely brilliant.
you can look back at something like Pitfall 2, or even the original Pitfall, and you can see that even though the games themselves are very simplistic, they showed you pretty much what to do from the get-go. You can tell what's an enemy, you can tell what's not, you can tell where you can jump, you can tell where you can't, and it's all done through the stage layouts. And I guess once David Crane got to something more powerful like an NES, he just kind of, I guess, was a little out of his depth. I don't know. I mean, I have nothing but respect for the guy because of the Pitfall and even the concept of a boy and his blob. But I feel like Pitfall was a much more successful experience than Boy and His Blob was until the Way Forward remake. But anyway, we've gone on long enough. It is time to move on to Game 5. I dig that song.
I have absolutely no fucking idea where this comes from.
I think I've got. Oh fuck! I don't know.
I know nothing.
Shit.
I'm glad to see we're all stumped because at least one of us has had some general idea at some point in this podcast of what's been going on, but this one, no idea. So this should be cool.
All right.
You're fucking. You're in the deep cuts here, Chris.
This is a deep cut, but this is one of my favorite deep cuts. Here's song 2.
All right.
Mike, it's not Castlevania.
Damn it.
All right.
I guess it's not Metal Gear either. Shit.
Well, shit.
Dan, you were the first one to chime in, and let me tell you, this is just if I can offer one hint, because this is a slightly obscure title. This is pay attention to how complicated the music was.
Right. Which is why I'm leaning, and this is a guess, but is it originally on the Wii?
No, sir.
No,
Damn
fuck.
it.
All right.
This game only appeared on this platform.
Shit. All right. Well, I'm completely out then.
Well, that was my guess.
Dean?
Well, it's obviously the Watara Supervision.
It's the Atomic Game Sphere.
No, what I said
That
actually
Gamecast.
exists. I swear to God, what I
Yes,
what I
it
said
does.
is a real thing, but
Yeah.
it's not that. I just didn't know
No,
what
it's
the hell
not
else
that.
to say.
Was that your guess though?
Yeah, I have no clue.
All right, Mike.
Oh,
Now's your
man.
chance.
Castlevania.
It was not on the Castlevania Entertainment System. No.
I have no idea.
It's my favorite classic gaming system, though.
That's all you need.
Castlevania 3000.
That's all you need.
It's dope as fuck.
All right, everybody. First point is forfeit, and this is going to break the second 2 points wide open. So, Dan, be prepared with your next guess. This is a game for the Virtual Boy.
Shit.
So that narrows it down too. The second question is, who made this game? Now, there were very few people that made games for the Virtual Boy.
Nintendo.
Absolutely.
All right.
I would have accepted Nintendo or T&E Soft, but nobody knows T&E Soft. I don't think they exist anymore. But yes, Nintendo had a large hand in making this game, and they also published it. So, of the 14 games that were released for the Virtual Boy, which one is this?
Oh man. Fuck. Is it Wario Land?
No, sir.
Shit.
Dean?
Okay. What I did notice was it sounds like a something you'd hear like just busy work. Like it doesn't sound like something that ever progressed into anything else. It was just like a loop. I don't know if that really means anything, but I mean, it didn't sound like a very exciting song. Except I don't know what. Is there a Tetris game out on the fucking this stupid system? Tetris or like Yoshi's. Did they have one of those Yoshi games where you ate the cookies or whatever? Was it one of those?
I
Wario
can't tell
Woods.
you. I can't tell you. Make a solid guess.
Dr. Mario. I don't know, Chris. I pass.
Mike, it's your turn.
3D Tetris.
Absolutely. That is this
Son
game.
of a
No, I had it.
Tetris for Virtual Boy. I take it nobody in the room has played this game.
No.
I have once.
Excellent. I love this game so much. This is my favorite Virtual Boy soundtrack. As you guys have noticed from the sound, the Virtual Boy sound chip was essentially an insanely souped up Game Boy sound chip. So you've got the same waveforms that the Game Boy would put out, but because it was such a more powerful system than the Game Boy, you could layer so many layers of those sounds and get this amazingly complex music, but that sounds like a Game Boy, but just a Game Boy on crack.
It was way less crunchy and much more like stringy and synthy.
Exactly, and if you listen to a lot of Virtual Boy soundtracks, is that they don't really hit that Super NES fidelity level, but they always have those kinds of bleeps and bloops, but they're able to manipulate those waveforms in such a way that the first song that we played was the test screen. So every Virtual Boy game you turn on, there's a test screen where you're supposed to, look into the system and adjust the focus and everything so that it doesn't give you headaches. So everybody who complains about the Virtual Boy gave them headaches was just because they didn't read the instructions and mess with your eyes. Because once you got the settings correct, the things just looked basic 3D, and because of the sensory deprivation that they put you in by the what's that kind of foam thing on the outside that blocked out all the light.
The blinders.
Yeah, the blinders more or less. If you did it right, I mean, it never gave me headaches as long as I had the focus correct, and it created this really interesting experience. And that particular song, because each game had a different song that played over the test screen, and that was just, I find that song just unbelievably beautiful. It's so calming and just kind of has a really interesting tune to it. And then the second song is basically Type A, so it's basically your endless Tetris mode. This is Tetris told told, yeah, played from a top view. So kind of like a Weltris. There was a PC game that was very similar to it, and you basically manipulate the Tetris blocks in 3D, and you have to make a square instead of a line. So it's like you're looking down on the well instead of from the side. And the music just kept going. Like Dean said, it goes on kind of an endless loop, and as you get closer to the top, like if you're about to die, the music will start playing faster and faster. But it's just great background music, and I love what you're not really getting through this podcast, unfortunately, is the stereo nature of it. They really, really took advantage of wanting to play with headphones on the Virtual Boy. They wanted you to put headphones in there, and the music comes through brilliantly in stereo. It's just different instruments will come from different sides, and when you listen to this game in its raw form in headphones, it's really, really something remarkable.
That was the only good thing about the Virtual Boy.
That's not true. I'll stick up for that system till the end. I mean,
Someone's got to.
Somebody's got to. Gunpei Yokoi can't because he's dead.
Well, that was dark.
Oh,
Died in a car crash. No, this system was made by Gunpei Yokoi. He was a damn genius. He invented the Game Boy, the Game and Watch, the Ultra Hand, all sorts of toys for Nintendo over the years. I mean, he's really one of the unsung heroes of why Nintendo is what they are today. And because the Virtual Boy was such a commercial failure, he wound up leaving the company more or less disgraced. And before he got back on good terms with Nintendo, he tragically died in a car accident, which is such a shame because he had made the Wonder Swan after that. And
Yeah, he made his own company after he left Nintendo.
yeah, and it was just such a shame that they had that kind of falling out. But that's Japanese culture for you. The Virtual Boy, it's such a curiosity. This was Nintendo's 32-bit system, which is really weird when you think about it because the games don't look like a 32-bit system. They look more, with the exception of the lack of color, visually they do look a bit more than the Super NES could handle, but the system wasn't really capable of pushing polys in the way that like the Saturn and the PlayStation was because it was dedicating so much of its CPU to rendering these 3D images because it had to display on two different screens, similar to the way the 3DS does, where in order to achieve that 3D effect, it's giving you two different displays at all times, which is how it tricks your eyes into seeing that 3D effect. And there's just some really interesting games on the system. There's a couple of duds, but like I said, there's only 14 games released for it, and like Jack Brothers, which was a game from Atlas, is a top view, almost Zelda actiony type of game, which is really cool. Wario Land for Virtual Boy is one of the better Wario Land games, and unfortunately hasn't been ported to anything. That game's really freaking good. Mario Clash is an updated version of the original arcade Mario Brothers, which is just such a cool direction to take it. Like we spoke on the one of our other podcasts about our favorite sequels and where Mario Brothers went to Super Mario Brothers. This is more of a totally different direction of where you would take Mario Brothers without going to the Super Mario Brothers aspect of it and sticking with the same motif of having to knock out enemies. But in this one, you're throwing turtle shells and stuff back and forth between the foreground and the background, and it's just such a cool game. And 3D Tetris was fun. Tellero Boxer was great. There's some really good games, and Waterworld.
So, Chris, what you're saying is that the Supervision was the best system ever.
Yes.
Okay.
The Watara Supervision. The only system I can't say the only system dumber than the Virtual Boy, because the only system truly and honestly dumber than the Virtual Boy was the Tiger R Zone.
I had one of those.
not the Ouya. or however the fuck you say that.
Because the Ouya is good in concept, and people have been trying to make that into a real thing, but it Android's too open of a platform for it to work. But I'm not gonna get into that. Another time. Another time.
We'll have a whole podcast about that.
Yeah, we can do that one on a geek philosophers on the fractured operating systems.
All right. So are we moving on?
Anybody have anything else to contribute about 3D Tetris or the Virtual Boy in general?
Yeah, I'm really sad it wasn't Bit Trip Runner. I thought I was on.
That's what I thought too, man.
We Bit Trip Gaijin Games. I got this. Fucking
Yep.
3 points coming my way.
Nice.
God.
All right. Well, we're moving on to the last game, which is I'm pretty sure I know all of us have played this game. So get your dancing shoes on, because you're about to hear some upbeat music. Here's Game 6. All right. There's song number one. Looks like we've got a fierce battle going on between Dan and Dean.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, dude, that song was awesome. I just didn't even want to turn it off. It was 4 minutes long, and I was like, fade it out. I was like, no, the song's just all of the amazing. It needs to keep going.
Oh, well,
the drums really stand out in that one.
Yeah, and that song's tricky because it has I'm fuck it. I'm gonna give a little bit away of my secret here, because that had a bit of the Sega going on, but then it had the back instruments of like something that would come out of like a PC game or something almost, or a higher demanding system that would need more computing power to handle better sound. So I'm a little interested to see what this is going to be, and you said we've all played it, so I'm really racking my brain here, but I guess we'll just have to wait for the next song.
Well, song two is a little bit of a treat because song two might give it away. And it was funny that you brought up drums, Dan, because the reason I picked song two was because of its drum track. Its drum and bass are amazing in this next track, and this particular instrumentation is actually different than the one that appears in the game. At least for the first half. At the second loop, it'll turn into the instrumentation from the game, which might help a little bit. But without giving anything, without further ado, crank this one up to 11 and enjoy the glory that is song two. All right, that's the that's the last song. Well, let's see. This is a tight one. I believe these messages both came in at the same time here. But it looks like, and feel free to look through this again. Am I correct that Dean was the first to ding in?
Dean's name is up there first.
All right, Dean. What platform did this appear on?
Okay, before we go into it, I just want to say that I didn't get this till I heard that loop that you were talking about, and it took a second or two. Now, do you want me to say the original system it came out on, or the actual system it came out on?
What game did this exact music come from?
The Wii U.
Okay, that works.
Okay. Capcom.
I'll take it.
DuckTales Remastered.
Absolutely.
Fuck, I had all three. God damn it.
Castlevania.
No, Mike. It's Castlevania Remastered. It's
Shit.
Way Forward's really,
Killing
getting
it.
a lot of they're killing it with the Castlevania Remastered.
Don't you love the Castlevania level in DuckTales Remastered?
Yeah, with the Medusa heads everywhere and Uncle Scrooge having
Well,
to
the
get mauled by
Transylvania
them.
level.
Oh,
Close to getting to it.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
yeah, this is DuckTales Remastered.
God
Which
damn.
I threw into the Retro Gaming podcast because it's all just remakes of. Well, not all just remakes. That first song there was an original track that was only in DuckTales Remastered,
Dude,
and
that was a tough one because I didn't play that game for very long. I had it and just I kind of hit the back burner and never really picked it up. So that was definitely a tough one. And the only reason I got it was because I remember the Moon theme very, very, very well.
the Moon
It's
theme.
so good.
Interesting you bring up the Moon theme, and that was something that they did musically in this game that I thought was an interesting thing. The first song was from the Money Bin level, which is the intro stage that you have to play before you can get to all the NES stages.
Such
Yeah.
a good
So-
opening stage.
It is. It's a really, really cool and fun opening stage, and I love that tune. And after you beat the game, you can play through the game with 8-bit music, and there's an 8-bit version of that song, which is pretty cool sounding. But yeah, that's that song in particular with the horns playing underneath it, just really, really, and the good drum beat just gets you pumped to play the rest of the game. The second track is from the Himalayas, and
Yeah.
before they released the soundtrack officially, I found a game rip and that somebody had put up online, and it had this alternate version of the Himalayas, which was what the first track was. The first half of the second track was where it was played on a mandolin, and it was much longer. It had that extended drum solo towards the end, which is just just amazing, just a really, really intense and awesome sounding, and really, really complex. And then at the second loop, it turns into the version that actually plays in the game, where the synthesizer plays over everything, and it sounds just as cool. And man, I freaking love that track. But getting back to what you were saying about the Moon theme, is that they added small pieces of that Moon theme into a handful of other tracks in the game, including this one.
They slipped it in, and I
yeah, they kinda
just
slipped
barely
it
made
in.
it out.
There's a little trumpet solo in there, not really solo, but towards the middle of it, where it plays the intro to the Moon theme, and it kind of ties the music together in a more just as a thematic thing. And man, they did such an amazing job with the soundtrack to this, because remaking that music, that absolutely legendary music, it must have been one of the most daunting tasks imaginable. The guy who did all this was Jake Kaufman, and the Herculean task of taking some of the most beloved 8-bit music ever and then making it modernized. I mean, Way Forward had a big enough challenge of not pissing off people by remaking DuckTales in the first place, but the music, that was a tough job. And I really think that, with the exception of the horribly out of place dubstep section in the Transylvania theme, he knocked every single track out of the park. And I picked the Himalayas one mostly because I feel like that's probably the most impressive upgrade over the original songs, over the original 8-bit version. I mean, the African Mines also got a really big upgrade, but my favorite track from the game is hands down the Amazon, and that was my favorite track in the original version. What do you guys have to say about DuckTales? I'm going on and on.
It is by far, I think, I think without question, when you look at remakes, that's now the measuring stick. Like that's the one that you need to be shooting for. Because like Castle of Illusion, the remake that came out for that was really cool and fun, and I played through it. But that DuckTales remake is so good. It changes everything that needed to be changed to make the game playable for a modern kid to fall in love with it like we fell in love with it when we were kids. You know, because gamers are they're different now. They expect a different layout, a different challenge level, and the game's still hard as shit if you play on the harder difficulty levels. But
It's still pretty tough on the easy difficulty levels too, especially if you've never played it before.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. But I really think with the things that were changed, with the addition of that intro level, again, good game design, kind of walking you through how this is going to be played. It's just brilliant. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, that intro level gives you the opportunity to, like with the way we had to fight those handful of Beagle Boys, that the original game missed was the opportunity to teach you all about the pogo swing and things like that. Because you pick up on the pogo jump, you know, if you don't pick up on that, then you've already lost the game. You'll never get anywhere.
Oh yeah,
but the golf swing and stuff like that, it gives you this opportunity to kind of figure out where the trajectory of certain things are going to go and really learn the mechanics of the game without giving you a flat out tutorial. And I really appreciated that. And then the extra Mount Vesuvius level at the end, which was really tough. I thought that was great too. That was really good stuff. And getting the original voice cast back to do those cinematics, and those cinematics got all this flack from people, and I didn't get it because I was watching a new episode of DuckTales. You know?
Yeah, that's what I loved about it. It felt like the show.
Exactly.
It did. It felt exactly like the show. And I mean, they put in cool trophies or achievements depending on the platform that you play on. And you know, they worked in everything that you would need for that game to come out now. And it's just so goddamn good. And diving into the money pit is one of the most fun things you can do in a video game.
I did that for about a half hour.
Oh, yeah, me too. I just over and over again, just jumping into that damn money pit and him popping his little duck face out of the money and spitting the coins out. It was just fantastic, man. You know, it's just good.
That's the kind of signature thing that WayForward's really good at doing. They did a similar thing with A Boy and His Blob. They had a hug button, and it didn't do. I mean, it kind of did something because you could make your blob very sad in that game. Like you could scold the blob and or put him in dangerous situations, when you could always cheer him up by pressing the hug button. And it's this unreasonably adorable animation where the boy just hugs the blob and then the blob gets all happy and everything's back to normal. And it's wonderful, but it's one of those character building things that doesn't really do anything absolutely necessary for the gameplay, just like diving in the money bin, but it's a fun little addition that's just there for the sake of being joyous. It's just there for the sake of putting a smile on the player's face, and you gotta love that stuff. You gotta respect that.
Well, and that game really made me want a lot of other remakes. You know, playing through that, it was like, well, this was perfect. Let's get on the remake bandwagon here. Give me fucking DuckTales 2 remade.
Yeah, because that game ain't easy to find. That was a recent addition to my game library, and it's a really cool game that adds a lot of interesting mechanics, and it's got some pretty decent graphics, and so few people have played it because it's a really rare NES game. There's just not a ton of them out there because it's such a late game, and because it's a sequel to such a revered game in the first place, it's just you have to pay a considerable amount of money if you're not going to download it through nefarious means in order to play it. And I have to say that I recently spent far too much money on one myself. I mean, I got a good deal, using air quotes there on the good, but as far as just being a crazy game collector, I got a decent deal on it, and I got mine complete in the box, the instructions, and I've played through it a couple of times now, and it's a really interesting game. You use your cane, you use the other end of the cane for a lot of things in this one, like dragging things. You'll wrap the cane around it and pull things. There's a lot of hanging on hooks and the wall and more complicated jumps. The music's not quite as good as in the first game, which I mean, that's such a high mark to hit in the first place. It would have been nearly impossible. But there are some really good tracks, and I would love to see the treatment they gave to DuckTales Remastered given to DuckTales 2. I would love to see that because that could be really fun, and hearing those songs progress in the same way, if they get Jake Kaufman to do the same kind of treatment to those songs, I think it would just be a spectacular experience.
Drop the mic, walk away.
Well,
Yeah, I
shit,
totally
so
agree.
Dean wins.
Yeah, if we're tallying up the points here, Dean's got 10, Dan's got 3, and Mike's got 2.
Sick.
Y'all gotta play some more
Goddamn.
video games.
Shit, man, I had those last 3 too. God damn it.
You did. You
that-
should
that
have
wouldn't
lied and
have-
just said that you got it first. I would have said okay.
No, sir, some of us have integrity.
Oh,
Come on, man.
oh, excuse me, Mr. Integrity.
Castlevania.
You know.
Chris, what do I win?
A yawn. Dean, you win a handshake and a high five.
All right. Yeah, I just got my
that's
high
so good.
five. I just high five myself. Okay.
Nice. I'll email you the handshake later.
Great,
Give you a
thanks.
vanilla wafer.
Well, I'd like vanilla wafer. That'd be fantastic. I'm getting all these prizes. I'm just raking them in right now. It's like poker.
Well, everybody, this has been a very fun experience. This particular podcast is dedicated to a good friend of ours, a friend of the show named Lou, who is going through a pretty tough time right now. So he had an idea for a music podcast, and unfortunately was unable to do it. So we did this episode in honor of him in his stead, and I hope that you enjoyed it, Lou. And if you dug the format of this show, I essentially ripped it off wholesale. There's some differences to be sure. There's actually a handful of differences, but the biggest inspiration for this is one of my absolute favorite podcasts on the internet from Nintendo World Report. It is called Radio Trivia Podcast Edition, hosted by a guy named Michael T.Y.P. Cole. And it basically he plays 3 songs per game, gives you a hint question in the middle, and they're all games that appeared only on Nintendo platforms, which is one of the big differences with our one that we did. We were kind of just going all over the place. But if you enjoyed this podcast, holy heck, go back to the beginning and listen to those shows. I've listened to every single one of them. They don't come out all that often, so when they do, it's a real treat. And it is an outstanding show to listen to, and it's a great way of exposing yourself to a lot of interesting video game music for games you've probably never played before, which was one of the things that I kind of went for with the game selection here, was to expose people to maybe some songs on platforms that they've never played before. And I hope that I was able to do that for some of our listeners. But outside of that, does anybody else have anything to plug?
Listen to the other podcasts on our website. That'd be awesome. www.geeklife.com, www.g33klife.com. Got a new podcast up called Paper Cuts, all about comic books. The other one is Geek Philosophers, all about literally everything and anything we can cover that's geek related, we'll talk about. So yeah, check those out. That's really cool. Check us out on YouTube. We got all kinds of cool videos going up every now and again. We're doing a playthrough of Tiny Toons, almost done with it. We're right at the end, at the last boss. I don't want to talk about it any more than that because it gives me an ulcer just thinking about it. But after that, we got a real treat coming up, as Chris mentioned before. We'll be playing Legacy of the Wizard, which is going to be really, really fun.
Weird as shit.
Yeah, weird game.
Great. I'm sure I'll lose my hair next, too.
Mike, you got anything to plug?
Castlevania. Play Castlevania.
Is Konami paying you?
They should. Hey, Konami, if you're listening, throw me some bucks.
Just
much.
Konami in general, nobody in particular. Just
Nope.
hey, Konami.
Yep.
Mike's the type of guy that just walks up to the corporate building, knocks on the door. Hey, Konami, just listen.
Hey.
You pay me money. I've been pushing your games, damn it.
Mr. Konami.
Yeah.
Mr. Konami, man.
Pushing Castlevania since 1990.
God damn.
Dan,
Oh,
you got anything?
well, fuck. How do you follow Castlevania? Shit, man. No, no, not yet. Maybe next week. I don't know. I'm practicing because I don't want my first Let's Play video to be shitty because that'll be embarrassing. So I'm practicing Street Fighter Cross Mega Man because fuck it, why not? Um, and it's so good. It's so much fun, and I just hadn't played it for years, and finally just downloaded it and have been playing through it. And I think maybe sometime next week I'll try and get something together. Totally fun
Whatever
though.
happened to drinking with Dan? How's that going?
I don't know.
Well, Dan's drinking right now.
I'm still drinking,
Yeah.
so I have to write the scripts. I've been testing, and there's things that are real life fucking gets in the way of shit. So
Yeah, F that crap.
yeah, I know.
Fucking real life.
Soon, next week. That's the goal. Next week,
All
and
right.
hopefully we can do this again sometime. Hopefully we can have Lou on next time. That would be
Frigno?
that would be badass. Yes,
That would be badass. That would be awesome.
that would be good times.
You hear that, Lou? If you're listening, come on our show. We'd be happy to have you.
Yeah.
Can we have him and Lou Ferrigno at the same time?
Yes. Well,
Oh,
you
man.
can find me in the pages of Nintendo Force magazine. The current issue on sale now at nintendoforce.com. I write a column called Peripheral Vision. In the current issue, I am taking a look at the Game Boy Player, and it's a good time. So that's going to wrap up our show. If you guys liked this, send us an email. Let us know. Let us know what you thought of it. Let us know what you think of any of the games or any songs that you would like us to play in future episodes. Anything. We love hearing from you. So send us an email at Dean.
Address is geeklifesite@gmail.com. Once again, that's G33KLIFESITE@gmail.com.
And that's gonna do it for the night. On behalf of everyone here, thanks for listening, and have a great night.
Isn't Lou Ferrigno deaf?
Fuck.
Like, isn't that going to make this
Just
really
means
hard?
He'd be really easy to beat. That's all.
Fucking big deaf Hulk. Shit.
He might take that
Oh,
as an
God.
insult if we invite
He
him to a
should.
podcast.
Good.
My buddy's dad bought gym equipment from him. Neat little fun fact.
God, just how would you even have that conversation?
We'd
Lou
have to have like
Ferrigno.
a translator, like fucking signing him as
Oh,
we're going
shit.
through the podcast, and he has the microphone next to him.
Would that be like on the bottom of the screen? You'd be like beep boop boop ba-doop ba-doop, and you'd be like, ah, fucking Mario, I got this shit.
Legacy of the Wizard is copyright 1987 Nihon Falcom Broderbund. Rocket Knight Adventures is copyright 1993 Konami. Secret of Monkey Island is copyright 1990 Lucasfilm Games. Pitfall 2 The Lost Caverns is copyright 1984 Activision. 3D Tetris is copyright 1996 Nintendo. DuckTales Remastered is copyright 2013 Disney Capcom.